Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are in Oak Harbor, Ohio. We're just down from the Ottawa County Fairgrounds, but we're at Mr. Kovach. He is a veteran, and we're doing a VA job. And so the VA is actually supplying funds for this project. We're not only doing the windows and the doors, but our other crew is gutting the entire inside of the first floor of this house. We're adding handicap aluminum ramps, we're adding sidewalks. We're really making this accessible for this veteran. He's a very deserving veteran. Unfortunately, he's lost the use of a leg and now needs a little bit of help modifying this house. But anyhow, our job today is our second job today. We were just at Catawba, now we're over here in Oak Harbor. This is called a wood common. So this is the old style wood frame on the outside with an outside parting stop, a middle parting stop, and then there's an inside shoe mold or an inside stop. And we're going to remove these sashes out of here, and then we're going to install the new window in its place, insulate all the way around it, and then we'll cap the exterior. So let's go look at a window that we just finished up so you can see what the finished product looks like. So let's take a look over there on the other side of the building. Alright, so here, are we ready?
Yeah.
Alright, so on this side of the house we have a window that's already been installed. The aluminum is done, the sealant's been all done. We actually cut into the siding just a little bit, so when our aluminum goes on, it goes into the groove of that siding, into that cut that we make, so the flashing that we do goes way back, and then we put a nice sealant bead all the way around it. So this is what the finished product will look like when we're all done with all the windows. There's 21 total windows on this house that we'll be installing, upstairs and downstairs. Alright, so the guys are putting in the windows in the front of the house now. We're doing the second story, obviously. And you can see the nice aluminum handicap accessible ramp on the front of the house. We're going to be adding another ramp on the right side of the house. You can see the white plywood on the right of the house. That actually goes into his kitchen. That'll be his second mode of egress. And we'll have another nice aluminum ramp on the right side that wraps around and goes to the driveway over there. So it'll be easier for him to enter and exit the building comfortably. So this is called a wood common style window. A wood common window, quite often there'll be a pulley here with rope and weights internally to the wall. But in this style, these are the old pin mechanisms. There's actually a pin right here. And when you raise and lower this window, the pin goes into different holes in the wall, and that's what holds the window. So that tells me that this house is probably 100 years old, if not older. The cracking on that paint also sometimes is an indicator of lead paint, so we have to be very careful in this house. Fortunately, when we're doing this remodel, there's nobody living here, so we don't have to worry about contaminating the homeowner or any of his belongings, because everything has been moved and vacated from this home. So we're starting with a clean slate. And at the end of the day, we dispose of our clothes and go straight to the laundry so we don't take that lead paint home to our children. Anyhow, what we do typically on a window like this one actually has already been modified. We shortened the window because this is going to be kitchen countertop. So this is a kitchen room where the countertop will be extended for more counter space for the veteran. But normally, a lot of people like to remove this inside stop and pull the sashes out from the inside. We do just the opposite. Just a minute ago, I showed you a video from the outside. What we do is we actually chisel that outside stop. I can't open this one because it's screwed shut. Well, maybe I can. Actually, I can. This window is literally falling apart. Anyhow, this is the outside parting stop like I showed you before. We're going to chisel that inch by inch all the way around, and that will allow us to take the outside top sash out. Then we remove the middle parting stop. That allows us to take this inside sash out. So we do most of the work from outside of the house, especially if there's lead paint. So we lay down protective coverings on the exterior, and we protect the mulch. We make sure we're not getting lead paint or chips or anything in their mulch or their grass. And we contain as much of that lead paint as we possibly can to keep everything as safe as possible. But we do most of the work from the outside. And we set that new window in right up to that stop and then we seal it, and we're not disturbing the inside of the woodwork, any inside of that potential lead paint. So that's how we do an outside installation method for a wood common type window. So let's go in the other room and see a window that's been installed. So we're here in a different room where last week we got a window installed, and I know it's hard to see, but again, this is that inside stop and the original jamb and the original casing, and here's our new window, and we do a nice bead of caulk along there all the way around. I know it's hard to see because of all the furniture that we've moved into that room, but that's the finished product. Doing an outside installation method. Another benefit of that is that you're not damaging any of this trim. So if I'm doing all this work from inside, I might have tool marks, I might break this trim, I could be damaging their paint or their stain. And again, if any of that has lead in it, we could be exposing the interior to lead paint and lead dust, and that's what we want to really try to minimize. We do not want to try to disturb any of this inside woodwork. So that's why we try to do everything from the outside using our outside installation method.
Do that one too?
Yeah, that's what they did on the other
Okay, we can do that.
one. Nice fat
All right, so what he was just doing here is behind this trim, I can see just a little bit of daylight through there. If I can see daylight, I know that there's air coming through it as well. So what we do is we back caulk this joint all the way around, and then when we set the new window into it, that seals and makes sure no air is getting through the wall, because there's all kinds of joints in here, and air can get around and through here and then into the house. So that's why we back caulk this, to make sure no air gets around our sealant and around our foam and our caulking and everything. So we back caulk that gap, set the new window, and then we do our expanding foam sealant. So the next step is to set the window. So since we're doing an outside installation method, we push the window out to the helper on the ladder. We raise it up with shims and get it properly positioned.
Got the windows?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You good?
Probably need these two.
Yeah.
Take it all the way up. There we go.
So on some of the windows, we have to pre-drill. We have to pre-drill a 3/8" hole. That'll be our installation. That'll be where we install the screws. That's our installation hole. Most companies already have that pre-drilled for us.
They went all the way through. Like crazy. There, I felt that bit a little harder on the first time.
How about the right side? Did that go all the way through? as well?
No, that one didn't. I felt this one jerk on me. That's why I was like, but I didn't think it went all the way through it. I'll have to fill that other hole with caulk. There we go.
Might have been too much.
Actually, I don't want too bad.
Too bad. Might need a loosener just a touch. Okay, so right here, what we're looking for when we push this sash up, we're just trying to get it that perfect reveal all the way across. You can see it's just a fraction tighter here than it is here. So if you have a gap on this side, you want to tighten the window that way. That eliminates the gap. If you have a gap on that side, then you want to tighten the window that direction.
Loosen this one.
There it is.
That might have worked right there.
So just that little bit
Yep. Looks good.
made a nice
See
adjustment.
what the bottom is. What the heck? Now let me get my centers in first.
So right now, if you look at the center of the window, there's too much play. So the top and the bottom are already tight. Now we need to make the center tight. So Corey's gonna tighten up on the center. He's gonna do the other side, and we wanna make sure that we keep that level so we didn't just screw up what we did at the top. Okay, way too tight. So what we're gonna do now is just barrel down a little bit. I'd do more on the other side than you would this side. Still too tight?
Seems to be. Maybe just a hair, maybe here.
Okay, now double check your alignment at the top, make sure that none of that changed. It still looks beautiful.
Okay, that's better. Bottom looks like now. Maybe just a hair that way.
So a slightly bigger gap at the left. So he's gonna loosen that one and then tighten down on the right. Now it's a nice even gap all the way across.
Okay.
So that window is set. So 2 top screws, 2 middle screws, 2 bottom screws.